So welcome, and my name is Marcel Chang, and this is Felician Ezekiel. Felician, can you share more about yourself? I've met you through the ECOWICE organization, and could you share more about yourself and the work you do?
Okay. My background is on wildlife management. Yes, I did my undergrad from Sokoine University of Agriculture in Tanzania. Yeah, and that's where I was inspired to work on environmental conservation related programs. And though I think the historical background of it started from when I was at my primary education, where I was like leading different environmental clubs. Yeah, so kind of like get inspired to high school. I continued working on environmental related activities to the college level.
Yes.
And that's where I was able to start a non-profit called Environmental Conservation for Wildlife and Community Enterprise, ECOWICE. Yeah, so I registered that when I was still a student, but I had to hold on until when I graduate by 2016, where I started to work with communities surrounding Mikumi National Park. Yeah, so right now we are like 8 years since we have been working, and we have been based on different activities, starting from conservation related to community-based activities. Yeah, and that's where through community activities we have livelihood activities, cultural-based activities, all of them aiming to enhance coexistence between communities and wildlife. And environmental conservation in general.
Nice. Yeah. So right now we are in Morogoro, Tanzania.
Yeah.
This is in the office of the organization, and it's very hot outside.
Really hot. Yeah, I guess it might be like 90 degrees right now. Yeah, we are
90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes, that's Fahrenheit.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So it's something that started from youth, and then you just kind of had that. You enjoyed the experience of putting together communities.
Yeah.
More on the natural side of things, like outside.
Yeah.
Almost like, have you heard of like Boy Scouts or something like that?
Here in Tanzania?
No, not here in Tanzania.
No, I haven't. I wish I could know something like that.
Yeah. So it's almost similar thing where you have kids come together, and then there's more towards the outdoors.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like camping in the US.
Okay.
But anyways, that's besides the point. So I met you in Ohio through a friend, Molly, who runs a grass-fed beef farm.
Yeah.
What is that relationship like, and how did you find yourself in the US, in Ohio, in the University of Ohio? How did you find yourself there in Athens, Ohio?
I think I first got an opportunity to get to visit the US through a community solutions program. It's like a program funded by the US Department of State. Yeah, which is like a 4-month program that invite leaders from non-profits around the world. Yeah, by that time we were like more than 100 leaders. Yeah, who went to the US. It was in 2022. Yeah, and we were like each leader got an opportunity to interact with non-profits that works closer to their mission. So I find myself working with Lulu Action, and that's where I was able to meet Molly Soash.
Yes.
Yeah, and from there I was able to also connect with different people around, like community members, including professors from from Ohio University. Yeah, I made some connections and also tried to find. I tried to find out how I can get an opportunity for improving my career.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I was able to get that opportunity, for returning back. After finishing up my CSP program, I came back to Tanzania, and then I was able to get that scholarship at
Yes.
Ohio University, and yeah, in 2023, where I was able to get back, and yeah, right now I'm doing my master's, and yeah.
What's the master's in agriculture or?
It's master's in environmental studies.
Okay.
Yes.
Environment. And how do you like the dorm room or the campus life in the US? And what's the difference between how your own university experience in Tanzania differs from that?
Interesting. Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to live in campus, in like dormitories,
Yes.
or hostels at Ohio University. At Sokoine University too, I was able to spend 1 year of my studies at dorms, and then I had to move back to like streets, like living alone with my friends. It's kind of like similar to what happened at Ohio University, where I was able to get a house where I have my like friends. I mean, through friendship that I developed when I came through a CSP program. So yes, I'm living with some of the friends, some of them who are working, some of them are students. Yeah, but generally, it's really cool, like to live with different people, community members, but also students. We are living like a community, very happy, sharing knowledge, experiences. Yeah, so it's something that I really liked.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So it's like a brotherhood, you could say. So
Yeah, like some kind of like that.
okay. By CSB program, what does the full name of that?
Okay. It's Community Solutions Program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Community Solutions Program. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have the so let me backtrack a little bit. So from youth, that's how you started being more inclined towards the wildlife and conservation initiatives.
Yes.
And then that's how you got more involved within that community and being able to facilitate more of this I wouldn't say more of the ecology side of things, the agriculture, working with communities. So it seems more like you're really out there a lot in the field. What's that with the hit and how what are coping strategies if almost most of the time your work life you're out in the field and it's not like it's not like majority of the time you're in an office on a laptop in a nice degree weather or AC or something like that.
Okay.
What's that experience?
Yeah, good question. I think it's something that I have been like developed since when I was young.
Yeah.
Because my parents are farmers and they live in rural areas. They actually live in rural area, and by that time we were like have to spend the whole day in farm. And the farm was like, I'm trying to calculate the distance in miles. The farm was pretty close to 15 miles away from home. So we had to like move early in the morning at around 6 with our food. And we could spend the whole day at the farm, yes, growing crops. And that mostly happens like in which is sunny and hot.
Yes.
So I guess I adapted that environment. So even when I grew up, for me, it was like very normal for me to continue working in such kind of weather, such kind of environment. Yeah, and I think that's why I was also able to interact with like rural people because, I have it's the kind of life that I have been grew up with.
Yes, you're more adaptable to it than most people.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's pretty like in the US, like right now I've been in the US for about 7 to 8 years.
Oh wow.
From Cameroon.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you're there, you get so used to not being out in the sun majority of the time.
Yeah.
So when the summer comes out, when the summer rolls in, it's like I'm always trying to be outside more, and get the tan, or at least feel what it. I mean, sometimes I don't even put on the AC.
Yeah.
Just because I want the heat in my room, and the fresh air from outside, and the sunny and everything. But it's very strange, because sometimes now, when the winter comes in, you kind of have to readapt, your body, should I say. It's very different from here, where majority of the time it's hot, 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 hot.
Yeah.
But in the US, it gives you a chance to reset.
Yeah, to change it. I think, yeah, which for me I liked sometimes, because you can, though in Tanzania also have like cold seasons, like especially from May to August. Yeah, but it's not like US, where you will like have like strong like high temperature, like last year that we had in September. I guess it was like very high temperature, and then we kind of like have like cold temperature. Yeah, and then we have like a normal one, which is, I think it's something good too.
Would you say so? In the US, there's 4 weathers, and I'm just kind of using the US as a reference point, because that's where I currently stay and work.
Yeah.
At the moment. So there are 4 seasons over there. Spring, winter, spring, summer, and then fall,
And fall. Yeah.
autumn. What are the seasons here in Tanzania?
We actually have 2 seasons. We have, how can I say? We have like summer, where it's hot, sunny, like this time. And then we have rain season, which kind of like spring, where it's rain. Yeah, and that normally starts in January, like this month. Though it might start, yes, we can have it up to May. It will be raining, though the temperature might still continue to be high. Yeah, which is like.
Do you get very heavy rains? Because in Cameroon, I mean, when it's rainy season, it's raining.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, we actually have heavy rains, and I wish if we could have stayed here for like until maybe mid-January, because right now they are just like starting. But from mid-January to April and May, we really experience heavy rains. Yeah, we can spend the whole day while it's raining, and I remember last year we had very heavy rains. Yeah, compared it to some of the previous years.
No,
Yeah.
Is it more of a tough day in the field, or you guys just take the day off when it rains?
Good question. Actually, we normally don't. And I remember last year when we had, when it was like very heavy rains, by that time we had a mushroom farming project where you have like to construct a mushroom house. And some of, because most of our houses are being built by bricks, and some of them they were not like roofed, so some of them fell down because it was like we had a very heavy rain. So we had to stop by the mid of January, until when rain stopped. Yeah, and most of my colleagues, most of our main transport is motorbike. So it's also a challenge for me and my colleagues sometimes to use motorbike during rain season. And also by that time it's the time when elephants tend to like move to community lands, because it's a good time for them. I remember some of my colleagues have like met with elephants along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes, you have to turn around fast, otherwise you'll be in trouble. Yeah, and again, as you saw the roads, they're like muddy. They are muddy during rain season, so
Yeah.
it's a bit challenge. But because we have passion of working with communities, supporting people, and also like making sure like we have safe planet. Yeah, it's something that we like to do, no matter this how the situation is.
Yeah, persevere.
Yeah.
Yeah, the roads. I mean, rainy season is it's a total mess, especially if the roads are muddy. And I mean, you get cars stuck in the mud, and
Yeah.
people are pushing here and there, and it's just so the infrastructure is definitely, the road infrastructure is, it's still a challenge to the daily life in terms, especially more in the rural areas.
Yeah, it's still a very big challenge. And we were lucky, at least this year, the road that we passed when we were going to Mkata, at least they tried to maintain that. Yeah, but there are other villages, other two villages that we didn't get an opportunity to visit. Some of them, during rain season, it's very difficult to pass by if you have a car. So you'll need to use a motorbike.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mkata village, how long have you been working with them, or what's your relationship with the farmers over there?
Good question. Actually, I started to work with them during when I was doing my research for my undergrad in 2015. Yeah, but by that time it was more of research based. So I had until when I was able to like start a non-profit and find some funds to work on community-based project, and that was in 2019. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are they solely farmers? Because I know we also met some Maasai in that area.
Yeah.
So it's both. What's the name you use? Farmers and pastoral.
And pastoralists. Yeah.
And pastorists.
Yes.
Pastoralists or pastorists?
I think they're all the same.
Okay. So is that so they both stay in that village?
Yeah, they actually both stay in that village. So historically, farmers they were the first. Mkata was a socialist village. But after we got an independence in 1961, our main mode of production was based on socialism, where people from different places around the country can join together in a certain area and form a village where they will do different economic activities and share resources. Yeah, so Mkata village was one of the villages that was established. People from different places met together, and their main activities was farming. Yeah, so the farmers were the first, but I guess basing on the information that we got from our research, the pastoralists moved in the area by 1998. Yeah, so they just came few, but some of them started to move in, the Maasai people, until this time when the population is almost half-half, and it's almost around 1,500 people. Yeah, as farmers grow crops, pastoralists only keep livestock. Yeah, and by that time we had no like land use plans where pastoralists could have like separate land and farmers could have their own land. Yeah, so it made the conflicts. When cattle can go into farmers' land and eat crops. Yeah, which really created like an internal conflicts between farmers and pastoralists. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, yes, it's really a challenge, though the government and different stakeholders have tried their best to solve those issues, I mean, the conflicts. But I think we still have we still have work to do on that, because, yeah, sometimes it's like, it can get up to a very serious level. So it's something that we still need to work on, like to make farmers and pastoralists,
work together,
live together, because they depend on each other. Farmers, they grow, maize, and as our normal food, we make ugali, and for you to eat ugali, you will need stew. If it's not beans, you can't eat beans every day. You'll sometimes need meat, So sometimes they buy meat, from pastoralists. On the other hand, pastoralists too, they can't eat meat always. They will need to buy corn, maize, and make flour, which will later on create stiff porridge called ugali. Yeah, so they really depend on each other. So I think it's something that they need to work together and collaborate.
Yeah. It seems like there was some kind of so we visited the village, and we had like the music and dancing.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning that there was some kind of fun time in terms of some of the music, the meaning of the words.
Yeah. As that's interesting. As you know, artists try to use their talents to address, their feelings, what they have. And that's what our artisans, our drum and dancing group did. They created a song that addressed, send a message to the government, and other actors that farmers and pastoralists can't live together.
Yeah.
So, which for me, I think it addressed like the conflict that they have between themselves and pastoralists.
Yeah, it's a statement. It's their own way of saying, "Hey, there's a problem, and
there is a problem. Yeah, we need like to find out ways on how we can solve
that."
Yeah,
it was very funny when you mentioned that. Because something that you mentioned, and I'll probably put out the interview as well. I'll put out the interview which we did at the Mkata village with the task force. Yeah, that's how they call it. What's the name? What was the name in Swahili again?
Kikozi Kazi.
Kikosi Kazi.
Yeah.
The task force group.
Yes.
In Mkata village.
Yes, at Mkata village.
So they mentioned that one of the ways in which they transfer knowledge and transfer stories was through music.
Yeah.
I think they also mentioned that reading and writing is not necessarily a strict form of way in which they have been passing down that knowledge through the next generations.
Yeah.
So I remember they also mentioned that it's something that they grew up dancing and drumming from their own parents and grandparents. And it's just part of the way of life in which they share messages, they address issues, they complain about issues. It's something, it seems like they are all artists, and it comes from their heart in terms of, if we have a problem, let's try to have a lighter sense of how to approach that, especially with things like the music and drumming, which is very great for the mental health and bringing people together and community. It seems like such a very powerful avenue in order to share a message.
Sure. Especially for the communities that have limited chance of like attending to schools, singing right now is a very best way for like sending message from kids, and also to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I would share everything, videos, the drumming and the dancing, because
Yeah.
it's one of the main reasons why I'm trying to push more of the such little groups in the village that there's so much that they have to share,
Yeah.
that it's like giving them that voice amplifies
Yeah.
that message, and like,
Yes.
okay, we can talk about something.
Yeah. I think it's a very best way. You remember after we did like the performance,
Yeah.
I tried like to open my ears to the young people, who were like watching the show. After that, every young like you'll find like some of the young people were trying to repeat the songs, which kind of like it's fun to them and nice, but they were also like brainstorming the message they
Yeah.
have received,
It
which I think
sticks. The rhythm sticks, the
yeah.
melody sticks.
Yeah.
So there was also another song which they sang, which talked about conservation.
Yeah.
What exact? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, it's one of the songs that was like encouraging other community members to conserve forests because they have village forests and also wildlife around them. Yeah, that was one of the like the song like trying to educate other community members to address that.
They were singing it literally after the kids were singing it
Yeah.
immediately after we finished, and even during the singing and dancing,
Yeah.
everyone was engaged in that. So that's definitely a very important way that messages get passed through.
Yeah.
I know so with Trust Drum Circles, we're trying to connect more with these local villages and amplify some of those messages, and
Yeah.
also provide an opportunity for outside tourism. So I know we briefly talked about ecotourism,
Yeah. Yeah.
and being able to promote more of that, such that everyone can be part of the drum circle experience and
Yeah. Yeah.
get to share more messages and hopefully record these messages too as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. I think ecotourism can be one of the best way for these small groups, to get an opportunity for like showing up what they have, their talents, the message, but also, generate income for them. I also remember during the discussion, we tried to ask them if they have ever met some tourists around Mikumi National Park. No one mentioned, which I think they have to benefit. Mikumi National Park is one of the park that is one of among the national parks in the country that receives many tourists per year. It's the leading in receiving domestic tourists, people who are like from within the country, but also is still good at receiving international tourists. So if we can encourage, or promote them to reach, this kind of opportunity, through talents, it can be a very good way for improving local community livelihood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's very powerful. Lots of possibilities.
Yeah.
Lots of possibilities.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me more about the research which you guys do at the organization at ECOWICE. So be it the research with farmers, I know you mentioned there's mushroom farmers, corn
Yeah.
farmers,
Yeah.
and then we can also talk about some of the support that comes from outside, like the international funding
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
Some of the donations and how that improves the outcomes, and some metrics too as well.
Okay. Yeah. Our research, our projects are mostly based on finding out ways on protecting farmers' crops, which is more of like livelihood. I want to support them so that they can not lose crops from wild animals, in particular elephants, for farmers, but also livestock for livestock keepers. Because sometimes you'll find like elephants crossing, the park borders and get into community lands, community farms and destroy crops. But also other wild animals like hyena and lions get into livestock keepers, settlements and eat cattle, which affects their economy. Yeah. So we're trying to find out ways, for elephants project that we are actually been working more. We are supporting them to construct beehive fence and also grow alternative crops like sesame. Yeah. So that's one of the projects that we have been doing, basing on the funding that we have obtained. But also the other projects have been based on environmental education, where we are engaging young kids to learn and develop ways on how they can coexist with wildlife. Yeah, so we are doing that in like schools, primary schools. Yeah, and right now we have reached the 3 villages, Mkata village, Doma and Maharaka villages surrounding Mikumi National Park. Yeah, and other 7 schools in Ruvuma region, which is on the southern part of Tanzania in Nyerere National Park. Yeah, so that's another project on environmental education. We also have another project which is like a community awareness project that also include supporting artisans and artists. This includes like cultural performance, like the drum and dancing groups, and also artisans, like women mostly who weave baskets. Yeah, so those are some of the activities that we have been doing to support communities improve their livelihood, but also finding best ways on coexisting with wildlife. Yeah, and for the case of funders, we have a little bit. Most of our funding sources are from individual donors. We receive donations through our website, and those ones have supported a lot to our environmental education project, but also the artisans and artist groups. Yeah, for the beehive fence, we also have received from individual donations, but we have also partnered with some of the local organization called Swiss Contact, which is through the skills empowerment project. Yeah, another international donor that have supported us is IREX, and that is actually through the U.S. Department of State.
USD?
No, it's like the Department of State.
Okay.
And that was through a community solutions program. Yeah, after we finished up a US visit, we got an opportunity to apply for a grant. So we got small funding to purchase beehives that helped us to install them along farms.
Yeah. So I know you talked briefly about the system that you guys put the beehive on the farms.
Yeah.
If I can remember correctly, there was a beehive and then there's a rope which gets tied across.
Yeah.
And then if an elephant wants to come through into the farming area, they get to open that beehive and say they get stung by the bees.
Yeah.
And that drives them away. And also the bees do provide honey.
Yeah.
I know you have is it 2 shops here around Morogoro?
Yeah, around Morogoro we have 2 shops, and in Dar es Salaam we have 1.
Nice. Okay. So it's like it's a very everything comes together sort of a situation where the honey, this honey which brings in some revenue and also food, that also drives away. It's almost like it's almost like a natural, how can I say, a natural glyphosate,
Yeah.
where you're still able to protect the plants and agriculture, and at the same time you're not really harming the animal.
Yeah.
In a sense, as in like pushing the animal away or something. But you're driving. I guess maybe share more about that.
Yeah, I think you addressed it well.
Yeah.
That's what we are trying to do, trying to find best ways where people can live, but also wild animals can still have places. So what we normally fence are the farms. So we fence farms and we leave spaces for wild animals to pass through. So it's not like we are chasing them away. We are finding them a best path for them to pass through. For wild animals like elephants, they have to move from one national park to another for them to survive. Changing they are like humans. We have to move from one place to another for genetic exchange or like finding good food. So for like elephants from Mikumi National Park, they some of them move from Mikumi to Sadan National Park, which is pretty close to the Indian Ocean, and others move to Nyerere National Park, which is on the southern part. Yeah. So for Mkata village is within the route where elephants pass to Sadan National Park, and what we are trying to do is fencing farms and leave another route, a safe route for elephants to pass through, which is like along a river, which is along a river, Mkata River, which go all the way to the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are trying to find out best routes for elephants and also safe farms, for farmers.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So this is very interesting. Are there any tax incentives when someone donates to the organization? Reason I'm asking is because in my own organization, which is a 501c3 under the state of Ohio, or even in general in the US, a donor would get tax donations, tax deductions when they donate to the organization. So is it tax deductions? Yes.
Incentive,
They get a tax incentives when they donate to a non-profit organization, a 501c3. And so are there any of that here in Tanzania or just internationally?
Yeah, good point. I think there are a lot, especially for like big companies, the local big companies. They have like they call it corporate social responsibility. Some of them are like banks, other like companies. We have them, but the challenge is the priority. Like most of people I can say in Tanzania, we still I can say we are still like growing toward more of environmentally conscious. Yeah, but most of companies, environment is like not a priority. Yeah, we have very few companies that have that prioritize environment in the corporate social responsibility. But generally, there is a tax incentive for companies that support non-profits. What is lacking is the priority. Supporting that consciousness of supporting environmental issues, and even some of the social-based activities like the cultural performances yeah, we are still struggling to get funding from local organization. That's why sometimes, and I think most of the times, you have to depend on international organizations, which, though there are still also challenges of like competition and a lot of issues, are based on like how to get funding from outside. But we are glad for some of them who are able to support locally based. But I believe there is tax benefits from both local and international based corporates that supports non-profit like ours.
Organizations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing when someone is able to see that you're putting in effort towards something, and they want to share more of that, and be willing to be part of that through providing resources to be able to amplify that work, the good work which is being done. So
Yeah.
the incentives definitely helps both from the government side and even on the corporate side as well,
side, yeah.
and even the individual
Yeah.
contributions, where it's more of like it's something that I truly believe in, and I want to support.
Yes, I want
this.
to make change,
Yeah,
be part of the change.
it's good stuff. Talk to me about the orphanage, Locarich Orphanage, which your wife runs. Yes, Eva.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, Locarich Orphanage is the orphanage center that currently supports 16 kids who are, some of them are abused kids, and some of them do not have parents, and some of them, they have parents, but their parents have like different problems, poverty, like extreme poverty, and others are like drug addicts. Yeah. So we were able to, Locarich were able to like take through my wife, that she has a passion of supporting kids, and through that she was able to act and find out ways on how she can help those kids. Yeah, and she started by 2022. Yeah, though it was her passion that grew up since when she was in college. She was like spending most of her times in orphanage centers, and through that, until when we were able to like meet each other, because I was like running a non-profit, and she was like kind of like having the same idea. I encouraged her, like, why don't you start like something like that?
Yeah, get something moving.
Yeah, and then we were able to start that, and right now it have reached 2 years. Being operating with like 16 kids, which I think is a very good progress. Yeah. And yeah, we can see how kids have been like changed since when they arrived at the orphanage until now. They are being supported everything. Education, food, a place to sleep, medical support, everything. So we are glad that local people have that passion of supporting, I can say, humanitarian-based activities like orphanage centers. Most of our funding support, most of our supports, most of our supporters are from local area, in Morogoro and surrounding cities like Dar es Salaam, who like most of the time pass around and support our orphanage. Yeah,
it's pretty. So we did a drum circle yesterday.
Yeah.
at the orphanage. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, good point. I remember by the time when you told me that we want to do a drums at your wife's orphanage, I was like, really? Will kids love this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we will see. Yeah, I actually didn't expect until when we parked our car and take drums out from, you know, the car. Like when I saw like every kid trying to grab in different instruments and try to beat, and I was like looking at them for like 15 minutes. No one stops. They just keep coming, and you know, and we did that for like, was it like two? I guess it was more than two
It was about
hours.
2 hours
Yeah,
plus
yeah,
something.
yeah. No kid stopped. I was really surprised about that. I think they had a very special day. Yeah, yesterday, and because when I went there at night, like for they are waiting for the New Year celebration. Some of them were still drumming.
They're still drumming
You know,
now,
yeah,
right?
yeah, which I think was they really loved that.
Yeah, it was
Really appreciate
chaotic.
that. Very chaotic. I'm sure you are also surprised.
I thought I had energy, but I was like, oh, this is true energy right here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's where like my wife was like, I think we'll need to like formulate a group. I mean, where kids can learn drums, you know, how to do drums, and also like make songs. Develop a kind of like music, drum and dancing group at our orphanage. That would be really good, I think.
Yeah, it would be awesome. So we got xylophones too as well.
Yeah, yeah, and that one was really special for them too. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were like, I mean, even today when we went this morning to butcher the goat, I mean, they were still you know, they were still like, hey, the marimba, you know, xylophone.
Yeah.
Really like the xylophone. So that, I mean, it's almost, I would say almost like a piano, but more of like a
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like a piano. And I had a lot of questions yesterday from kids, me and my wife. They were asking, how do they make it? You know, what kind of trees? Yeah, they were like trying to figure out the process of making it. Yeah, hopefully in the future we can have
some workshop.
some workshops. You know, some people who can like make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those that can make it. I mean, even on its own, it's definitely a very good skill to have.
Yeah, yeah.
Irrespective of, hey, I can make drums, you know,
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
make a xylophone out of trees and wood, and
Yeah.
then you kind of start developing some of those skills like carpentry and
Yeah.
woodwork. But it was
Cat.
it was very chaotic. And then at some point they also kind of got into a rhythm.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them were trying to find we're trying to find a rhythm, which I think they will be better. For me, I think they will be better as the time goes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, developing different rhythms. Yeah.
It was really good. Like we got some Afro beats going, you know. We got some
And
nice.
some of them were like trying to dance.
Some two were trying to sing him, but
Yeah.
some other people were drumming so loud that those that were singing didn't stop singing, and
Yeah.
they were trying to look for another thing to play with, or go to the xylophone or
Yeah.
something, or just it was. So I took some videos too as well.
Yeah.
So that would be fun to share.
Sure.
That would be very fun to share.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like it's a very community. There's really good community that the kids have.
Yeah.
With your wife and the caregivers that are at the orphanage center.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good. We've talked about honey, handcrafts, weaving baskets. Okay, I guess we can wrap it up.
Okay.
So tomorrow we'll be going to the Morogoro Mountain.
Yes, Uluguru Mountain.
Uluguru
Yes,
Mountain.
Uluguru Mountain. Yes.
Okay. Have you ever climbed the mountain yourself?
Good question. I climbed it, though not for a fun. I climbed it I guess twice. One was when I was when I was doing my undergrad. We came there to do like an ecological monitoring, but also when I was working at the organization, there are people who lives there. So I did. We had like a mushroom farming awareness. In some of the villages out there. Yeah, that's where I was able to experience the mountaineers life at Uluguru Mountain. Yeah, and also there are like places where you can like have fun. So I have climbed sometimes, though I haven't reached at the top. Yeah. I'm not actually like a mountaineers person, like, but sometimes I can try to like hike. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how far
We'll
we can
see
go
tomorrow. How far we can go.
I mean, I don't plan on reaching the peak, but I just want to at least go.
Yeah, at least like see the
See how
Morogoro
far I
town.
can go. Just
Yeah.
see the whole town, because where I am, I'm able to fully see the mountain.
Yeah.
And how gorgeous and huge it is.
Yeah.
If you've ever been to, say, like Colorado, so Colorado Springs, I've been there just once.
Okay.
And the mountains are almost just like this. It's very lush, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Even on your daily commute to work or business or whatever,
Yeah.
there's just a daily dose of inspiration that you see the mountains every day.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Colorado Springs. But now I'm kind of developing some love for the Uluguru.
Yeah, hopefully tomorrow it will be fun. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I forgot one question. I was about to ask, where did you meet your wife, and and how did you guys get married? Maybe share more about the.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
I met my wife at our shops. One of our honey shops are like facing each other town. So that's where we met, and we started to share different experiences, from business perspective, but also to like a non-profit operation. But that time she had like a plans of like opening an orphanage. And because I had like sometimes working in a non-profit sector, yes, I was able to give her some ideas. We had like, that's where we got friends. We became friends. Until when we got married last year in 2024.
Yeah. Just last year, June.
Yes, last year, June. So we kind of like have 7 months right now. The marriage ceremony, is a bit different from American. I was like to attend my friend Molly's wedding.
Oh, you were there?
Yes.
And it was on the farm, right? Was it on the farm? No, yes, where was it?
At Dairy Farm. Dairy Farm? It's pretty close to Ohio University.
Okay.
It was very fun. And that's why I was able to compare like American weddings and African weddings. I think for us, our weddings were like much more complicated.
Okay.
Yeah, because we actually our wedding lasted for 1 week. Yeah, because my wife come from Kilimanjaro, which is around 1,000 kilometers, which is around 500 to 600 miles away from where I'm from.
Yeah.
So we had like 18 hours drive, going to her family. Me and my family members, we had to travel and do a first ceremony where like it's like a send-off. They were sending my wife to me in front of my parents. So that was a first ceremony. And then we had to travel back to my home where my parents live in Kagera region, which is pretty close to Lake Victoria. And from there we had 2 ceremonies. One was like more of village-based ceremony.
Traditional ceremony.
Yes, a traditional ceremony, where you'll find most of like local people. You'll have like drums and dancing, and we had something like that. We had something like that, yeah. And after that, we also had like a town, modern-based ceremony, where some of your friends who are like not much interested.
A church wedding, would you say?
Yes.
Was that a church wedding?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The church-based, wedding.
White gown, black tie.
Yes. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a full week of events.
Yeah, that was a full week of events and long travels.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there some? So in Cameroon we have a bride prize, where you give food or goods or cows or
Yeah.
to the wife's family.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing as here?
Yeah, I also have to do that, and that is done depending on the culture, like the tribe. Yeah, in my country we have more than 100 tribes. So my wife is from Chaga tribes, and I'm from the Subi tribe. We have kind of like different culture, but for me, I had to follow the culture because I'm going to marry. I had to bring, some of the traditional issues like fabrics for her, so like grandma, parents, siblings, and also had to bring goats. Some of the goats. I can't tell the number.
No need.
Yeah,
Goats.
Also a local drink.
Yeah.
It's kind of like wine.
Palm wine? Are you referring to palm wine?
Is
it from the sap of the coconut?
No, it's from the from banana. Yeah, it's made from banana. It's the manufacturing process is more of wine processing.
It's fermented.
Yeah, yes. You have to make banana juice.
Okay.
And then you ferment it.
So you're saying this is banana wine?
Yeah, it's kind of like banana wine, though. Yeah, but yeah, it's.
You're gonna have to, because I know. Is it white in color?
No, it's not.
Okay, so we're talking about two different things. But
yeah, it's more of like brownish.
Okay, so in Cameroon, or at least in that area, say Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, we have palm wine, which is very similar. It performs the same. How can I say? It performs the same purpose. Okay. Which is during a wedding, you get to share that palm wine, and it comes from the sap of the tree, the white sap of the palm tree, and that gets fermented, and it turns into alcohol, or it's more like a sweet and alcohol sort of a thing going on.
Okay.
If you don't ferment it for long, it's more of like a juice. It's more sweet, and then if you ferment it for a very long time, then it's like alcohol,
Yeah, I think that one is related to the one that we have. Though the one that we make is made from bamboo. Yes, it's made from bamboo, and it's kind of like whitish.
Yes,
and it's made by another tribe, which are mostly on the southern part of Tanzania. Yeah. So it actually depends on the tribe. If someone could have come to marry in my family, they could have brought something different, related to our traditional like drink. We also have our traditional drink, made also from banana. Yeah. But also have another one made from millet and cassava.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Do people drink it often, or it's kept ceremonially?
When you go to rural areas, they drink oftenly. And like for me, when I go back to home, I will always find different people, sitting around, especially during the weekend, drinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like when you are a visitor and you reach, you came back to the village, uh, it's not actually a must, but it's a very good thing, like to buy maybe like some amount, yeah, which will make community members feel proud of, like, this is our kid. We send him to school, and right now he's able to buy, wine for us.
Yeah.
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 Okay. It's very similar, almost the same
To
thing.
Cameroon.
Yeah, where
Okay.
you have to. It's like paying your respects.
Yeah. So it's a culture. It's kind of like that. And if you don't, they will be like, that's okay, but he could have bought at least one, like,
Yeah.
liter.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's actually not that much expensive in rural area. So when you visit the villages, like for me, like when I visit a village, I have like to set some amount, like to, yeah, so that yeah, it's kind of like a gift to them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, gotta share gifts.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other thing that you wanted to talk about? Any other thing that you wanted to share?
I think I have spoke a lot, but one of the things that I think is more important is like to like continue our like develop and continue the collaboration that we have. I mean, the partnership that we had, visiting each other, sharing knowledge and experience. I think that will help a lot to the people we are working with, people we are supporting, and the visions that we are trying, the goals that we are trying to achieve. I think partnership and collaboration is more important. Yeah, sharing knowledge, sharing experience, sharing resources. That's more important. Like for the way how you donated the drums to the groups in the village, but also your donation to the orphanage. I think that have created, have inspired us, and to think beyond, like how we can support kids, how we can support, communities. We have enough resources. We have, like right now, we have enough drums with the groups.
Yeah.
And we are now like thinking how we can support these people to turn their talents and resources that they have into, income, and develop, support their family, but also preserve their culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I know his name, Anthony. I mean, he really facilitated.
Yeah. I also liked him. Anton is very great, and I think people like Anton need to be motivated, need to be like supported, like just giving them, telling them that what you are doing is very impressive, unique. It's yeah. I think they need something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So just for context, the person we're talking about is when I will share the videos for the drumming group in the village under the tree. Look out for the person who was facilitating the women and the drummers, and you would know from the moment you watch the video that, bam, there's something there.
And I think that was very unique. It's something that the group themselves have tried to innovate, because in previous years, when they started, they did not have something like that, like someone who can stay at the middle and try to facilitate, Yeah. So, yeah, I think that was really nice.
It was good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, Felician.
Yeah, thank you
it was
so
good
much.
talking to you, and sharing more about ECOWICE, environmental conservation for wildlife, and community enterprise. We're currently in Morogoro, and where can people find more information about you?
Yeah.
Phone number, website.
Yeah.
What's something that people can look for you?
Yeah, if you will Google ECOWICE, you'll find all of our contacts, address, and also the direction. When you got in Morogoro or when you visit Tanzania and stop and just right from the airport from Mwalimu Nyerere, you'll the good thing that we have a train right now. Just if you can board a train, it's almost 2 hours.
Train was beautiful.
Yeah, by train, we have a bit like for like I think for Africa it's like one of the modern like kind of train. Yeah. So when you got to the train station, it's not that much far where our office is, so you're warmly welcome. And from there we can have like some trips, to meet villages, enjoy their culture, experience how they live with wilderness, wild animals, and then enjoy like the beautiful mountain that we have, beautiful parks, Mikumi National Park. Yeah, actually, really, Morogoro is a very nice area to live, a multicultural area. We have very friendly people, nice places, nice food, nice drinks. Yeah.
100% approved. 100% approved. Okay, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it
so much.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, this was fun.